Something big is about to happen at Heartland, and it will change Amy's life in a way no one is ready for. One relationship is reaching its final moment, and just when Amy thinks she can finally breathe again, the past knocks on the door like it never left. This is not a normal goodbye, and it is not a normal return. It is the kind of moment that makes the whole ranch go quiet, the kind of moment that makes your heart feel heavy even before you understand why. The air at Heartland feels different when a chapter is closing. It is not always loud. Sometimes it is just the way the morning looks a little colder, or how the wind sounds like it is carrying words no one wants to say out loud. Amy has been trying to hold herself together for a long time. She has been doing the work, day after day, the way she always does. Taking care of horses, listening to what they cannot say, helping them heal. But even when she looks calm on the outside, something inside her has been shaking quietly, like a door that will not stay shut. In season 20, the story moves into a place where feelings cannot be avoided anymore. Amy and Nathan have been on a road that looked steady at first. It had kindness in it. It had moments that made it feel safe. And for a while, it seemed like maybe this was the next step for Amy, the next chance to build something new without fear. But sometimes a journey does not end because of one big fight. Sometimes it ends because two people carry different kinds of pain, and they do not know how to put it down together. Amy has been trying to be strong, but strength is not the same as peace. She smiles when people talk to her. She keeps her voice steady. She does what needs to be done. Yet in the quiet spaces, when no one is watching, you can feel the truth sitting with her. The truth is that her heart has been split for a long time. Part of her wants to move forward, because moving forward is what everyone expects. It is what the world keeps telling her to do. But another part of her still lives in memories she cannot erase, no matter how hard she tries. And that is what makes this season feel so heavy. Because Amy is not only dealing with a relationship that is ending, she's also dealing with what endings bring back. Every ending pulls old feelings out of hiding. Every goodbye forces you to look at what you have been trying not to look at. And Amy has been carrying so much inside her that even a small crack can make everything spill out. Around her, the ranch keeps moving, but the people closest to her can sense the change. Jack watches her with that quiet look he has, the look that says he understands more than he will ever explain. Lou tries to stay busy, because staying busy is how she avoids falling apart. Tim acts like everything is fine, but when Tim says fine, it usually means the opposite. They all feel it. They just do not say it yet. Because saying it makes it real. The first part of this story is about that moment right before everything changes. It is about the deep breath you take when you know something is ending, but you are not ready to let go. It is about the way your heart tries to prepare, even when your mind is still hoping it will somehow work out. And it is about the kind of silence that only shows up when life is about to turn a corner, because the truth is, Amy is standing on the edge of something. One door is closing, and another door is about to open in a way that will shock everyone at Heartland. And when that door opens, it will not just change Amy's future. It will shake the whole family. It will bring emotions they thought were buried. It will bring questions no one wants to answer. And it will bring a name that still has power in that house. Even after all this time. Ty. And once that name comes back into the air, nothing will feel simple again. Amy and Nathan did not fall apart in a loud or dramatic way. There was no big fight, no shouting, no door slammed shut. Instead, their story slowly faded, like a sunset that looks beautiful but still tells you the day is over. At first, Nathan felt like a safe place for Amy. He was calm, steady, and understanding. He respected her work, her space, and the life she had built at Heartland. For Amy, that mattered more than anything. After everything she had been through, safety felt like hope. Their time together had quiet moments that meant something. Long talks that did not need rushing. Shared looks that said more than words. Nathan tried to be there in the way he knew how, and Amy truly appreciated that. She wanted it to work. She wanted to believe that this was the future everyone kept hoping she would choose. A future without pain. A future that felt new. But healing is not a straight road, and love cannot grow if part of the heart is still somewhere else. Deep down, Amy knew there was a distance she could not cross. It was not because Nathan did something wrong. It was because Amy was still learning how to live with her past, not replace it. Nathan saw pieces of that truth, even when Amy did not say it out loud. He noticed the way her eyes changed when old memories came up. He felt the space between them when her mind drifted away. And slowly, he began to understand that he was walking beside her, but not fully with her. The hardest part was that neither of them was wrong. Nathan wanted a future he could build now. Amy needed time she could not measure. That difference started to weigh on them. Conversations became careful. Smiles became softer. Moments that once felt warm started to feel unsure. They both felt it, but neither wanted to be the first to say it. Because saying it meant accepting that trying harder would not fix it. When the end finally came, it was quiet and honest. No anger, just truth. Amy admitted that she was still searching for something she could not name. Nathan admitted that he could not wait forever for a part of her that was not ready to arrive. There was sadness in that moment, but also respect. They let go not because love was gone, but because love was not enough to heal what was still broken. After it ended, Amy felt empty in a way that surprised her. Not because she lost Nathan, but because the ending forced her to face herself. She had tried to move forward, tried to be ready, tried to follow the path that seemed right. But now she had to accept that her heart was still carrying unfinished emotions. And once you face that truth, you cannot ignore it anymore. This was not just the end of a relationship. It was the end of Amy pretending she was further along than she really was. And that realization opened the door to feelings she thought she had locked away. Feelings connected to a name that still lived in every corner of Heartland. A name she never truly said goodbye to. After Amy and Nathan went their separate ways, Heartland did not fall apart on the outside. The chores still got done. The horses were still fed. The sun still rose over the fields like it always had. But inside the house, inside the people who lived there, something felt off. It was the kind of quiet that makes you listen harder, even when nothing is being said. The kind of quiet that sits heavy in the air and refuses to move. Amy threw herself into her work, hoping the routine would steady her thoughts. She spent longer hours in the barn, talking to the horses the way she always had, because they never asked questions she was not ready to answer. With them, she did not have to explain her feelings or make sense of her pain. They understood without words. But even there, in the place where she usually felt the most at peace, her mind wandered. Memories came back when she least expected them. Old moments, old promises, old love that never truly faded. Jack noticed first. He always did. He watched Amy from a distance, saying nothing, letting her move through her days the way she needed to. But his eyes told a different story. He had seen this kind of silence before. He knew what it meant when someone carried too much inside. Jack believed in letting people find their own way, but that did not stop him from worrying. He felt that something was coming, something that would shake the ground beneath their feet. Lou tried to handle things the only way she knew how. She stayed busy. She focused on the ranch, on plans, on problems that could be solved with lists and meetings. It was easier to fix things you could see than to deal with emotions you could not control. She wanted to protect Amy, but she also feared what might happen if Amy stopped moving and finally felt everything she had been holding back. Sometimes love makes you afraid of the truth. Tim reacted differently. He filled the silence with noise. Jokes that were not funny. Complaints that did not matter. Big opinions about things no one asked him about. It was his way of avoiding the quiet, because the quiet made him think. And thinking made him feel. He sensed a shift at Heartland too, even if he would never admit it. Deep down, he knew that the past had a way of returning when people least expected it. The ranch itself seemed to be waiting. The walls held years of memories, both happy and painful. Every room had echoes of laughter, tears and promises made under the same roof. Amy walked through those spaces feeling like she was standing between who she used to be and who she was supposed to become. She did not know which direction to take. She only knew that something was missing, and that the missing piece was closer than she realized. This was the calm before everything changed. The moment when life holds its breath. When the past and present stand side by side, ready to collide. Amy did not know it yet, but the silence she felt was not empty. It was full of meaning, full of memory, full of a return that would bring both comfort and pain, because storms do not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes they arrive quietly, through a door opening, with a familiar presence that changes. It did not happen in a dramatic way. There was no warning, no build-up, no moment for anyone to prepare. 1 second, Heartland was wrapped in its usual stillness. The next, something shifted. It was the kind of shift you feel before you understand it, like when the air changes right before rain begins to fall. Amy felt it first, deep in her chest. Before her mind could catch up, she heard a familiar sound. Footsteps, slow, steady, sounds that belonged to someone who knew this place by heart. Amy froze where she stood. Her hands stopped moving. Her breath caught, even though she did not yet know why. Her heart began to race, not with fear, but with recognition. Some feelings never disappear. They wait. And in that moment, everything she had pushed down rushed back to the surface. When Amy turned around, time seemed to break apart. The world around her faded, leaving only one truth standing in front of her. Ty was there, not as a memory, not as a dream, but real, solid, close enough to change everything. The years between them felt small, like they had folded in on themselves. All the love, the loss, the pain, and the hope came crashing in at once. And no words came right away. They did not need to. Amy's eyes filled with emotion she could not control. She had spent so long learning how to live without him, convincing herself she was moving forward. But now, standing there, she realized something she had always known. Some love does not end. It only waits for the right moment to return. Ty did not rush her. He did not explain. He simply stood there, carrying the weight of everything they had been through. His presence was calm, but powerful. Like the ranch itself, he felt familiar and safe, yet full of stories that were never finished. His return was not about fixing the past. It was about facing it together. For Amy, this moment was overwhelming. Joy mixed with fear, hope mixed with pain. She wanted to step forward and step back at the same time. Because Ty's return meant more than seeing someone she loved. It meant reopening a part of her heart she had protected for so long. A part she was not sure she was ready to face again. Heartland had seen many changes over the years, but this was different. This was not just a person coming home. This was a piece of the ranch returning to where it belonged. A piece of Amy's soul finding its way back. And once Ty walked through that door, the future of everyone in that house shifted. Nothing would be simple after this. Old wounds would open. Old feelings would rise. And every choice Amy thought she had already made would need to be questioned again. Because when someone like Ty Borden returns, he does not just step into the present. He brings the past with him. And he forces everyone to decide what they are willing to fight for next. Ty's return did not stay a private moment for long. Word spread through Heartland the way feelings always do in a family like this, quietly, but deeply. Each person reacted in their own way, shaped by years of shared history, love, and loss. The ranch that had been holding its breath finally exhaled, and with that release came emotions no one could hide. Amy was the center of it all, even when she tried not to be. Seeing Ty again stirred something powerful inside her. She felt joy she did not allow herself to name, mixed with fear she could not ignore. Her heart wanted to believe in second chances, but her mind warned her of pain she remembered too well. She struggled to speak, to think, to understand what this return meant for her life. Every step she took felt heavy, because each one brought her closer to a truth she could no longer run from. Ty was not just part of her past. He was still part of her heart. Jack reacted with a quiet strength that only comes from a lifetime of loving deeply. When he saw Ty, his eyes softened, and for a moment, the weight he had been carrying seemed lighter. Jack did not need many words. His calm presence said everything. He had watched Amy suffer in silence, and seeing Ty again gave him hope he had kept hidden. Not hope that everything would be perfect, but hope that some things broken could still be made whole. Lou's reaction was more complicated. She felt relief, worry, and protectiveness all at once. Part of her was glad Ty was back, knowing how much he meant to Amy. Another part of her feared what his return might do to the fragile balance Amy had built. Lou wanted answers. She wanted plans. She wanted to make sure no one got hurt again. But emotions do not follow plans, and Lou knew that this situation was bigger than logic. Tim, as always, struggled the most with showing what he felt. At first, he tried to act casual, brushing it off with his usual tough attitude. But beneath the surface, the shock hit him hard. Ty's return brought back memories Tim had buried, along with regret he never fully faced. He cared deeply, even if he rarely showed it. Seeing Ty again forced him to confront emotions he was not comfortable admitting. Together, their reactions showed one clear truth. Ty's return was not just about Amy. It touched every person at Heartland in a different way. It reopened old wounds, but it also reminded them of love that never truly left. And as they stood together, trying to make sense of it all, one thing became clear. This family was about to face a future shaped by the past, whether they were ready or not. Ty's return changed the future of Heartland the moment he stepped back onto the ranch. Nothing was written in stone anymore. The paths everyone thought were already decided suddenly felt uncertain, and that uncertainty brought both fear and hope. For Amy, the question was no longer about moving on. It was about understanding what moving forward truly meant. Did it mean closing a door forever, or did it mean opening one she had been too afraid to touch? Amy stood at a crossroads she never expected to face again. Her heart pulled her toward familiar love, while her mind reminded her of the pain that once followed it. Healing, she realized, was not about forgetting the past. It was about learning how to live with it without letting it control her. Ty's presence forced her to slow down and listen to herself, something she had avoided for a long time. Whatever choice she made now would shape not just her future, but the soul of Heartland itself. For Jack, Ty's return felt like a circle closing and opening at the same time. He had seen generations come and go, love rise and fall, and people find their way back home in unexpected ways. This moment reminded him that Heartland was more than land and buildings. It was a place where people healed, where second chances were possible, and where family meant standing together even when the road ahead was unclear. Lou began to see the ranch not just as a business or responsibility, but as a living story still being written. She understood that some chapters do not end the way you plan them. Some take turns that challenge everything you thought you knew. Tim, too, felt the shift. Beneath his rough words and stubborn ways, he recognized that this return gave him a chance to face old regrets and maybe, finally, let them go. Heartland's future now rested on honesty, courage, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Love would be tested, trust would need time, and healing would not happen overnight. But one thing was clear. This family had survived worse by standing together. As the sun set over the fields, the ranch looked the same as it always had. But inside those familiar walls, a new story was beginning. A story about love that never truly ended, about family that never gave up, and about the power of coming home when it matters most. Whatever came next, Heartland would face it